Mr. Yousef Jabareen, member of the Knesset, the basic law has been introduced in Israel this year. What does that law mean for people of Arab origin in the state of Israel?
The basic law, the nation state, deepens discrimination and exclusion of the Arab Palestinian minority within Israel. We are about 1.5 million, constituting about 20% of the population in Israel. We constitute a national, linguistic, religious, and cultural minority, and we are the indigenous Palestinian people who survived the Nakba, the 1948 war. This law is basically classifying us as a second or third class citizens, so it deepens discrimination against us. And our opposition is very clear that we cannot accept being treated as inferior citizens. This is not only racial discrimination, it's also an apartheid system that no democratic country in the world today could imagine legislating such a discriminatory law. The nation-state bill also says that the Jewish people has an exclusive right of self-determination, and we are saying that this basically is a denial of the right of Palestinian people to establish their own sovereign independent state alongside Israel. The law also speaks of a united and complete Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. This is also clear denial of the rights of Palestinians in Jerusalem. So this is an extremely dangerous law. It reflects the extreme right-wing ideology in Israel. That's why we are very concerned about this legislation and the Israeli implementation of this law.
Can you give an idea of what this will mean on a day-to-day basis in terms of housing, language, just how people go about their daily business?
It's facing discrimination because you're an Arab in the main areas of life. Our language, for example, the Arabic is not respected in the parliament, is not respected in the courts, it's not respected in public offices. Unlike, for example, the French language in Canada as an official language alongside English. But we face a lot of also discrimination in housing, in terms of not having development projects within our community, and also in terms of being rejected for living in some areas because we are an Arab. We face also discrimination in employment, including also in the public sector, not just in the private sector. And our schools also are poorly funded. We don't get the chance to study our own identity, our own history, and our own narrative. We even don't have the opportunity to control the management of our own educational system or religious affairs. So it's basically denying our right for equality as citizens, but also denying our collective identity as a national minority and as a cultural minority.
What do you want Europe to do about this? It's an internal law. Isn't it an internal matter? Why should Europe be concerned, be involved, and intervene in some way? And what way would you expect them to intervene?
Human rights and minority rights are not anymore internal issues for the state. These are universal standards, and these are universal issues and universal values. When it comes to the EU, for example, there is the association agreement between Israel and the EU. In this agreement, Israel is committed to respect human rights, to respect democratic values. So we are saying that this nation-state bill is a clear violation, substantial violation of Israel's commitment to respect the human rights and democratic values. So we would like European institutions to exercise political pressure on the Israeli decision makers, on the Israeli government, first of all, to repeal this racist law and to change discriminatory policies toward the Arab-Palestinian community within Israel.
We've seen requests, pleas from both the European Parliament and from the European External Action Service to change this perspective of the government. Doesn't appear to have been successful. What else can be done?
I think when it comes to the issue of establishing a Palestinian state alongside Israel, the issue of the two-state solution, there are still some measures that the EU could adopt, including, boycotting the settlements, the settlers, boycotting companies that trade with the settlements, boycotting also settlement products. These are all measures that could be taken. When it comes to issues related to our status within Israel, we do think that the EU has political influence, especially because it has a very broad trade, economic, and social relationship with Israel. So this is really an influential political and economic position that should be used in order to bring Israel to adhere to human rights standards and to respect our collective rights as a minority and our individual rights as citizens.